Kieran, how do you explain it? Because Chelsea finished the game in the 90 minutes so well. They had Liverpool up against the ropes. You just feel they just had to make that extra step forward to get it done. Yet they regressed so much, so evidently, in the extra time period. And yes, there's young players for Chelsea, but they've got more appearances, more experience than the Liverpool team they were up against. How do you explain that, and how much does Pochettino have to take responsibility for it?
I mean, listen, whichever way you want to slice it up, it's disappointing from Chelsea's standpoint. You know, I think with the season that they've had, you know, they've been obviously average at best. But I actually don't think that they were that bad, like you said, in the 90 minutes.
Yeah.
If they had had a half-decent season, you would have said that they were unlucky yesterday, right? But because they've been so sloppy this season, you kind of have to just say that it's normal proceedings for them at the moment. You know, I agree that I don't agree with the age thing, because you know, Liverpool had a young team, Chelsea had a young team.
Yeah.
It was makeshift for both teams in the end.
But I suppose for Liverpool it was makeshift because it had to be, because of the injuries. For Chelsea, it's makeshift. Well,
Chelsea's not makeshift.
But it's because of their transfer policy. That's why they've got all these youngsters in.
Thiago Silva wasn't available, but he wouldn't have played.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Reece James is out, but Malagusta's doing brilliant. Chilwell's back, he's an England international. 200 million in the middle of the park. Conor Gallagher could have, you know, he was at Palace, he's back there, they were going to sell him, but he's going to Tottenham, whatever. They left Nkunku on the bench, that was their choice. Raheem Sterling's been there, seen it and done it, got the T-shirt. And Cole Palmer was 40 million, he's having a very, very good season. We talked about this yesterday, we were in agreement. There wasn't too much to criticise Chelsea about over 90 minutes. If you could nitpick about the finishing and the final decision-making in the final third. But in general, it was a decent performance for 90 minutes. It was a shambles for the next 30.
Yeah.
And that's where it's unacceptable. And I go back to what I was saying in yesterday's live show, if you watched it or whatever, was when kids come on, I'm all for kids playing, played with youngsters as an experienced player. But when you're playing against them and you see these youngsters coming on, 100,000, give or take, 90,000 there, extra time in a cup final, against all these big stars, I'm going to make it as horrible as I can for these kids. I'm going to make it a half-hour nightmare for them. And at the end of it, I'll pat them on the back and say, well played, young man, you know, hope you blah, blah, blah. But for 30 minutes, they're going to wish they weren't on that field. Yeah. Right? And they're going to be shaking like a leaf. They're going to be nervous wrecks because I'm going to pressure them and I'm going to make sure they make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, we're going to capitalise. What they did was the complete opposite. They said, we're going to sit back and we're going to give McConnell and Clark and Dans, and these youngsters, a chance to enjoy Wembley and the space to go and build confidence. That's bonkers. Yeah. Absolute. There's no sentiment, Kieran, when youngsters come on. If you've got a young guy coming on as a left back, I'm putting my best right winger against him.
But is the problem that Chelsea lack that experience to go and do that?
No. Hold on, we can't sit here and talk about Chelsea's experience with all these players.
No, but we talk about these players as if they're all World Cup winners. They're not, though, are they?
No.
With the extent, you obviously...
But hold on, we've got McConnell and Hart and Dans. We've got Caicedo. Every club in England would have taken Caicedo. Bruno Fernandes won... Enzo Fernandez won the World Cup. Right?
Yeah, but you know also...
I don't know.
It's that, Dan. You know when people talk about the age group thing, the difference also we have to understand, when you come out of a system and you understand when you're playing for a team and you coming out of a youth system, you kind of play a certain pattern. Like, if I'm talking about my history, coming from Ajax, and I'm sure Kieran had that when he coming from Arsenal, the journey which you travel is that the whole way through your young system, you understand what you had to deliver in the first team. So those young boys that came into the Liverpool side, I think they did a great job, but it's also a job that they know what is expected from them before they even get to the first team. Because knowing Klopp, he's not working only on his first team, he's working on the team below that and all the way down, making sure when they are ready to join him, they understand what to do. Chelsea is not there because they have all new faces in it. So they have to play it. We can talk about like the age group, that's why that is not even relevant to match it up. we can only talk, okay, the financial aspect is because they're building a team. So in that sense, I have to protect them in the sense of like, they need more time, yes. But they have spent so much money. The only thing that was relevant for everybody is that you don't have to spend that much to get that much quality, because Liverpool have proven it to us. But I went to Chelsea, I went to the training ground a couple of years ago. I went all the way to Cobham, and they showed me all the way around, showed me all the new facilities and everything. And they explained everything they were doing was building the youth system and getting it to a level that they want it to be. Now, I'm looking at Chelsea, it looks like they're starting all over again. They almost have, what is it, 1 or 2 young boys, and they try to get rid of the ones that are already there. Like, you know, Craig already mentioned Gallagher. They're trying to get, okay, Chalobah comes on in 2 games, but try to change the game twice. City tried to change the game, and Chalobah came on, boom, they scored 1-1. Liverpool, he did the same thing. Bring him on, change the backside, and one of the key things is in football is when you change the defense, it can sometimes be shaky. And 2 times I saw them conceding. Will not say that it's because of Chalobah's mistake or because, but it does influence the team in the sense of the setup, where do you have to be and how is it going to be. So that question and that thing, I have to make sure that everybody understands. Coming out of a youth system and being there for years and coming to the first team helps a lot compared to just coming new into a team and being a young boy.